Good morning and welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Friday, the 12th day of Menachem, and we complete today the letter 3 in Igeret Hakodesh, the letter talking about charity. So once again, let's begin with charity. Gedola tzedakah shemakareves hageula. Tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. And we spoke yesterday about what charity does, what it accomplishes. It brings the fruits of the mitzvahs down in this world. And we explained that every mitzvah, when we do a mitzvah, it creates tremendous light up there. We don't see what's happening here. In fact, we are not able to benefit the reward of the mitzvahs in this world because it's too intense. Godliness, godly revelation is only when we're not limited in this physical body. Nevertheless, we said tzedakah, giving charity, has the ability of bringing down even that great light down into this world, which is translated in the blessings in this world. So the Alter Rebbe used the metaphor, the verse that talks about it. That talks about Vayilbash tzedakah kashirya, and that Hashem wears tzedakah like a coat of armor. And we explained yesterday, when the Alter Rebbe explains this verse, that the coat of armor had is it's the leather coat. It has the metal scales on it, and there is holes in each one to attach it, and then there is the scale cover the holes. And we explained that the garment represents the godly encompassing light, a light that is too much for this world to receive, and the holes in the armor represents the concept that that tzedakah makes holes in that light to be able to penetrate and trickle down to this physical world. But at the same time, there's also a danger that the other forces, not holy forces, can benefit from it also. It's like, take for example, like when you have the nuclear abilities, you can create tremendous things, create a lot of energy and positive energy, but it can also be used in a negative way. So it has to be done. This is why the scales cover the hole. This represents a higher level of godliness, which ensures that it goes only to the right place. What it means is that there is a higher level of godliness that is beyond limits and not limits, and that enables, when a Jew does the mitzvah, to bring it down into this world. So every mitzvah, we said, creates this godly energy. So basically, there is the energy that comes down, that Hashem created the world with, and the way the world runs naturally. But then there is, when you do a mitzvah, you trigger a higher level of energy, a higher level of godly energy. Because doing the mitzvah, you are touching the divine, the very essence of God's will. You are doing God's will. And God's will is above everything. Just like in human being, the will is above our logic, above our emotions. When we want something, it's a very powerful, comes from the very essence of our soul. So doing the mitzvah triggers that energy. And it brings it down, this higher level of godly energy, into the spiritual higher worlds. But then it says, but how does it trickle down to this world, that you'll be able to bring it down in this world? It says this is through the act of the tzedakah. When you do the tzedakah, the act of being charitable, whether it's with money, whether it's hosting guests in your house, any type of tzedakah, that is a godly act that triggers Hashem himself. And that brings it down that it should be, these blessings should be brought down into this physical world. And this way, the Alter Rebbe explains the other end, the end of that verse, that God wore his tzedakah like an armored coat. Then it says, "V'kova Yeshua bereisha," in a helmet of redemption on his head. So the Alter Rebbe explains what that means. The helmet of redemption on his head. So he says the helmet represents that what sits on the head represents, the head is of course the beginning, the top of the human being, the beginning of the 10 spheres, the 10 attributes, the chachma, the intellect, and so on. The helmet represents the keser, that light which is above the head, above the world. That sits on the head. It means the beginning of the revelation of this godly energy goes into the chachma, into the intellect. And what does that bring? Yeshua. Yeshua means redemption, but Yeshua also means turning. But when you turn to someone means turning with your whole essence, with your whole being. You turn to someone. Sometimes you can look at a person and the person gives a look at you. Doesn't have to say anything, just by looking at you. The look can be a very sharp look, saying, you're doing something, we're going to talk about it later. It can be a look, can be a warm look. Something the person turns with a love. You can see in the look, the depth of the essence can turn to you. So this is Kiva Yeshua B'Roisha, where we do the tzedakah. We make Hashem, in the very essence of Hashem, turn to us with his very essence. And because it comes from his very essence, this is why it is translated into this physical world as well. So that's inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Achmiyu agoyrem liyeridas ha'oyer ve'ashefa lo'ilem hazeh ha'gashmi miyud tzfiris hanikroim gufa. But what causes the descent of this physical world, the descent to this physical world, of the light and abundance from a source as lofty as the 10 spheres of the world of Atzilus, which are referred to as the body? What makes this tremendous light that in this world is not capable to receive, to be coming into this physical world? Says the Alter Rebbe, Hu hayichud haniska le'el. This is the above-mentioned union, the union of the Holy One, blessed be He, and His Shekhinah, the infinite degree of radiance permeating the Sephiris and the subsequent worlds. And this union is brought about by performance of the mitzvahs. When you do the mitzvah, you touch the essence of Hashem, so to speak, the very will of Hashem. For it is an additional radiance and affluence from the light of the Ein Sof, the supreme emanator of the 10 spheres. In a measure exceeding the radiance and influence at the beginning of the emanation in the world of Atzilus and subsequent evolution. So again, like we said before, the light that comes to this world comes through a system. A system first it reveals into the world of Atzilus, which is totally godly, and goes down and down in an evolution. But the light that comes to the mitzvah gives an additional radiance which is way beyond and above Atzilus. And where does this addition reveal itself first? In the level of Chachma. Reishis Tosefes Ha'ara V'Hashpa'ah ile Reishis Hayot Sfiris. And the additional radiance and effluence is first bestowed upon the sphere of Chachma, which is the first of the 10 spheres. And now the Alter Rebbe explains this end of the verse, when we said that Hashem wears a helmet, a hat of redemption. This is the meaning of the above quoted phrase, and a helmet of salvation upon his head. So the word Yeshua, which explains this salvation, also has the meaning of turning. Yeshua u'meloshen vayisha Hashem el hevel ve'el minchasai. Yeshua shares a root with the word vayisha, which is a verb in the phrase, and God turned toward Abel and his gift. In the beginning of the creation, Hevel, of course, the story in Genesis, that he brought the gift of the animal offerings to Hashem, and Hashem turned to him. So the turning means the turning of the essence. There's a story I mentioned a number of times with the Tzemach Tzedek, that he was a grandson of the Alter Rebbe, and the Alter Rebbe raised him. His mother passed away young. It's a different story, not for today. And the Alter Rebbe was playing around the Alter Rebbe, and he asked him, "Where is Grandpa?" And he turned to his beard. He says, so the Alter Rebbe says, "No, that's Grandpa's beard. Where is Grandpa? Avu Zayde." Turned to his hand. He said, "This is his hand." So the little boy went on playing, and then all of a sudden he screamed out. He said, "Zayde, Grandpa!" And Alter Rebbe turned to him and he says, "Das is Zayde. This is Grandpa." Little boy. The wisdom of a little boy that turned to be the Tzemach Tzedek, the third Chabad Rebbe. And the turning, you can attend something without in an external way. Sometimes you do things you don't even put your mind to it, you just do it. But then there's the turning of the essence. When a Jew does tzedakah, he acts godly, because that's what Hashem does, being charitable. And that triggers Hashem turning to us. Continues the Alter Rebbe and says that this reveals a tremendous light called the Shin Ein Oirim, the 370 lights, it says in the Zohar. 370 is a number that 300 is 10 times. There is the 10 sephiros, the 10 attributes, and the 10 attributes are divided into 3 and 7. You have the 3 intellectual attributes and 7 emotive attributes. So the 3 intellectual attributes, each one has 10. And each 10 is also made out of 10, so that's 300. And the 70 is the 7. Each one of the 7 also made out of the 10 attributes within their individual attributes, and that is 70. And that represents a very high level of light. The Shin Ein Hakodesh. This alludes to the drawing down of the light and abundance of the Shin Ein Harim, the 370 lights spoken of in the Holy Zohar. As it is written, may God make his face, means his face, shine upon you. The face also means the inner being. Panav is from the word panim. May Hashem shine upon you from the inner being of Hashem, upon his people in this lowly world. That is, of course, from the priestly blessings. I was saying, May Hashem, Yer Hashem panav elecha. May Hashem shine His internal countenance to you. And then there's another verse from Tehillim, from Psalms, that says, Yoyer panav itanu selah. It is also written, may He make His face, His inner being, shine with us forever. Now here, in this verse, it doesn't say shine to us, it means shine with us. So what does it mean? We're asking Hashem that His face should shine with us. So the Alter Rebbe explains that's exactly what it means. With us means that it is you who trigger. You become a partner in that shining to you because you are doing your part by giving tzedakah. And that triggers that Hashem will shine with you at you. That which ensures that this divine light be with us is the practice of charitable deeds. And this is the Alter Rebbe explains another verse that says, Zeireya tzedakos matzmiach yeshuos. This is actually not a verse, it is a part of the prayer. In the prayer we say, Zeireya tzedakos matzmiach yeshuos. So in the phrase there it says, he who sows tzedakos brings forth Yeshua salvation. Meaning the distribution of charity results in the salvation brought about by the light of the above mentioned Shin Ayin Naharim. So when you plant tzedakah, and we use the word planting tzedakah. Why do we use the word planting? Because just like by planting, when you plant something in the ground, you don't see it right away. It becomes concealed in the ground. Later on you see. Another thing is also when you plant something, you plant one little seed and it can grow a whole tree with fruit, with endless fruit. The same thing as tzedakah. When you invest in tzedakah, it creates a tremendous light, an endless light. And also when you plant, you got to work. You have to invest in it. You plant, you water it, you plow it, and so on. Same thing is with tzedakah. When you being charitable, you work on it. You go beyond your abilities. You go when you're inviting people in your home. You'd rather be sitting on your couch or watching television, and you invite people. You get them, make them feel good. You serve them with a meal, and you're at a mitzvah. It's a beautiful, beautiful mitzvah. And so on with all other kinds of charitable acts. When you work on it, you plant it. That makes the salvation grow, and the turning Hashem turns to us. And Alter Rebbe concludes with the blessings. V'chacha yoyer Hashem panav aleim. So may God make His face shine upon you. Tzidkasa may medes la'ad, and your tzedakah shall endure forever. This is the letter that Alter Rebbe again writes to his Hasidim, asking them to contribute tzedakah. Mekarnam torum beYeshuas matzmiach keren Yeshua. May your horn, the power, be exalted by the salvation, by the Yeshua of the one who causes the horn of salvation to sprout. Tzemach tzedakah me'akoiva Yeshua anizka leil. By sprouting of the tzedakah, which God does for His people. From the helmet of salvation mentioned above, kenefesh tidreshenu, as is the wish of one who seeks Him. This is the end of this beautiful chapter, beautiful letter, and wishing you a good Shabbos, and Bezat Hashem, we'll see you after Shabbos with the next letter in the Igeret Hakodesh. Have a good Shabbos.